What's up everybody, the Blue Fang here, and today I'm back with a new part of What If Naruto Had All of the Bijuu. So since you were able to complete the like goal yesterday, I was able to come back with a new part ready for today. But for today's like goal, it will be 340 likes for part 8. So it's not like that much of a like goal from last time, it's just like 10 more likes. But let's just see if you guys hit it. Now before I get into the recap, subscribe if you're new, hit that like button, and turn on bell notifications. So with no further ado, let's get into the video. So last time we left off with Orochimaru putting the curse mark on Sasuke, and Naruto going berserk over it. They both are unconscious at the moment, and now it's time for Hinata to protect them for a while by herself. Also, Team Dosu are on their way to capture both Naruto and Sasuke. So now currently Team 7 has all of the scrolls they need to finish this stage for, but Hinata is waiting for her teammates to actually wake up so they can finish it together. While she does that, a small distance away, Team Dosu gets closer to Team 7, with their main targets as them. Orochimaru had ordered Team Dosu to collect both Naruto and Sasuke for a secret plan that Orochimaru hadn't explained to them yet, but with their loyalty to him, they still follow his orders. They jump tree to tree, closing in on their targets, and ready to snatch their prey in the forest. As they do that, Hinata becomes more cautious and decides to check the area with her Byakugan, checking if there are any enemy teams coming close to her. She scans around until she sees 3 figures dashing straight towards her. Her eyes widen as she crouches down to pick up both Naruto and Sasuke so that she could put them in a safe place, but successfully she does that by hiding the both of her unconscious teammates in some bushes. She breathes in and then breathes out, ready to face whoever is coming her way. Team Dosu finally makes it to Team 7's location, and to their side they see Hinata standing around by herself. They jump down from the trees they were running on and walk up to her. Dosu decides to ask her where Naruto and Sasuke are, and if she says she doesn't know, they know that Hinata is lying since Orochimaru told them who Naruto and Sasuke's third teammate was. Hinata keeps quiet though and doesn't try to speak a word to the enemy team. That's when Zaku gets restless and he dashes to Hinata, then grabs her by the neck. "One last time, Hugo. Where are your teammates?" Hinata's face becomes emotionless while not saying a word still. Her eyes become sharp as well, and a second later she lets out a gentle fist technique on Zaku, hitting him in the arm. Zaku puts on a surprised expression since he wouldn't think Hinata would have attacked. He jumps back to his teammate's side, grasping his arm because of what Hinata did. Hinata then gets ready to fight, with her eyes having no fear in them since she's doing this to protect her teammates, specifically Naruto. Dosu tells Kin to take care of Hinata while he goes to look around for Naruto and Sasuke. He also tells Zaku to stay with Kin. Dosu then goes off without knowing that Naruto and Sasuke were so close to him since they were in the bushes. Once Dosu goes off, Kin then runs at Hinata, and when she does, she throws multiple senbon needles at her, which Hinata easily dodges them and also reflects them as well. Kin keeps throwing the senbon, trying to tire Hinata since she knows she isn't a ranged fighter. She continues throwing and also becomes more precise with her hits, able to lay senbon into Hinata. Zaku begins laughing at Hinata, cackling at her failing to come close to Kin, but Hinata still doesn't give up. She continues to dodge and reflect the senbon, slowly getting closer to her target. From a distance, Team Guy comes into view. The team looks down on Hinata struggling against her teammates. Rock Lee then looks at his team. Should we go help her? It doesn't look like she's winning right now, and plus there are 2 people against her. Neji then looks back at Lee with a stern look on his face. No, don't try to help her. She knew what she was getting into when she joined this exam. This is exactly what she gets for that. Neji then tells Team Guy to continue on their path. They reluctantly follow behind him, but Lee and Tenten look back at Hinata with guilt in their eyes for leaving her. Back to Hinata vs Kin, Hinata begins to tire out, which was all a part of Kin's plan. She grins at her tired opponent as she slowly walks up to her, ready to finish her off. Hinata looks down while breathing in and out, trying to get some air into her. She then looks back up and gets ready for a battle again. Kin, now surprised to see her opponent back up and ready to fight again, doesn't know how Hinata is still going, but she proceeds to go finish her off. But as Kin gets closer, Hinata now sees this as a chance to use her new technique that she worked on. She wanted Naruto to see this first since he was the one who told her to make a new technique. But she'll use this technique to protect both Naruto and Sasuke, even though they can't see it. Hinata prepares for her new attack while Kin is confused about what's going on. Hinata lets her hands out and then a burst of chakra comes out from the both of them. After that, the chakra in her hands shape into blue lines. The technique that Hinata learned was the gentle step twin line fist. When told to train for the Chunin exams and also encouraged by Naruto to make a new technique, she pushed herself to her absolute limits in chakra control, creating this new attack move that she just unleashed. The line heads formed from the chakra on her hands can drain someone's chakra network, but only for a while since she had just recently learned this technique. Back to the fight, Kin is in shock seeing Hinata still able to form a new move after all the hits that she landed on her. But without hesitation, she goes to throw more Senbon at her. But Hinata dashes quickly towards Kin and lands her first attack with the twin lion fists on her. Hinata then trains some of Kin's chakra, stunning her in place for some time, which gives Hinata a chance to let out a bigger attack. Hinata begins to let out a barrage of hits with her technique, all hitting her perfectly, throwing Kin off her feet and sent flying into a tree. Now that Kin's out of the way, Hinata turns to Zaku now, as she prepares for her next target. Zaku grins when Hinata turns to him since he thinks that she has no chance, and he then runs at her, not letting her get the first hit on him. As he dashes at Hinata, Zaku begins to shoot out his air attacks from his hands, trying to get Hinata off her feet. She barely dodges those attacks and also tries to close in at Zaku, ready to take on a close-ranged battle. Hinata readies her next attack with the twin lion technique, while Zaku readies his attack with his air. They both come in at each other at the same time, but since Hinata has the twin lions, it gives her a slight range advantage with her attack meeting Zaku first. Zaku gets thrown into the ground by Hinata and his chakra is drained for now. He can't let out any of his attacks for a while. Zaku screams out in defeat, which from a far distance, Dosu hears Zaku. He now realizes that something must be wrong. Dosu turns back around, heading back to his now defeated teammates. Hinata's twin lion fists run out and she's left with not that much chakra at the moment. She walks over to the bushes to check on Naruto and Sasuke to see if they're okay or awake. Hinata does check on them, but they're still not awake from what happened before. She continues to wait for some time, but is still cautious since she remembered that Kin and Zaku had another teammate with them, which was Dosu, who has now returned. He sees Hinata standing around his now defeated teammates while being unnoticed. He wonders on how strong Hinata is to take down both Kin and Zaku. Dosu comes to a conclusion of taking care of Hinata first before he goes to look for Naruto and Sasuke. He jumps down from the tree he was standing on and takes off at a great speed towards Hinata. He readies his metal gauntlet on his right arm, putting it in front of him. Hinata then turns around and finally sees Dosu dashing straight towards her. Without any time to react, Hinata gets slammed by Dosu as blood flies in the air from the hit. But that hit wasn't all Dosu had installed for Hinata. He then lets out his metal gauntlet's ability to manipulate sound waves. He swings his right arm in Hinata's direction and then sound waves begin to bang into her eardrums. Hinata's view grows blurry as well while she starts to feel dizzy. Dosu then lets out another attack, laying his fist into Hinata's face, throwing her into the ground. More blood spills on the ground from that hit, painting the grass red. Dosu then looks down on Hinata. "Are you really the one who defeated my teammates?" He then walks up to her and lets out multiple kicks into her body. Hinata then begins to start coughing out blood and in her head she knows that this is the part where she doesn't stand a chance. She can't take down a guy like Dosu at the moment, and not just because of his strength, but her chakra is very low at the moment. Dosu begins to let out one last finishing kick, but then he stops when he senses loads of chakra coming from a close bush. He slowly walks towards the bush, feeling a rush of strong power in the air as he gets closer. He stops and looks to see who it is. Some seconds later, two figures rise out of the bush, with one having some dark chakra coming out of them and the other having some gleaming chakra coming out. Dosu looks in shock since these are his targets that he was looking for, so that's where they were. They were so close all this time. He takes steps backwards, putting some distance away from his new opponents. Naruto and Sasuke have now come back and are ready to fight. Naruto looks around to see Hinata on the ground, but also Dosu's teammates on the ground as well. He forms a small smile. Nice work, Hinata, you fought well. Naruto then turns to Sasuke and realizes that he doesn't look all too great. Sasuke has been awakened by the curse mark's chakra. Dosu stands back from both Naruto and Sasuke, knowing that he can't take the both of them on at the moment. He quickly takes Zaku and Kin's bodies in his hands and escapes from Team 7, still shaken by the enormous chakra his opponents had. A while later, Sasuke snaps out of his curse mark state, and Hinata also gets back on her feet. Team 7 then eventually finish the second stage of the exams, since they both have the scrolls, and we now move on to the preliminary rounds, since like in the original, lots of people passed the Forest of Death. And that's where I'm gonna end it off for today, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to get this video to 340 likes for part 8. So like always, subscribe if you're new, hit the like button and turn on bell notifications. It's been the Blue Fang, peace.